What's up, guys? Jake SLEASMAN, Blue Collar Outdoors, and today we're testing a broadhead that's very, very different. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so a bunch of subscribers have brought this company up to my attention, and I started looking at it, and I got blown away. I thought it was a pretty unique design. I liked what it had to offer, and that company is right here. Black Widow Innovations. This is the Arachnid. This is actually a 6-blade broadhead. Also, you can see in here there's extra tips, right? So it comes stock. You order it with the 100 grain, well, the tip that makes the broadhead weigh 100 grains installed. You can spin that off and put on a 125 grain tip to shoot a 125 grain head. So that's a pretty cool design. I got them on my arrows already. I got them weighed. So we'll do the speed test. The 100 grain broadhead arrow will be 513 grains weighed. The 125 grain actually weighed in at 541. The broadhead was a little bit heavier than 125 grains. It should have been around 538-ish, so it was a touch heavier. So we'll shoot the chrono, get the true speed before we shoot the gel. But just to slide this out here so I can check out the back here. Okay, so here's the broadhead. Let me get to the side. Here's the broadhead right here. As you can see, it's a 6-blade broadhead. It's got a really short ferrule. That's by design. It's to have added toughness on impact without adding weight. The blades are actually 27 thou thick. So it's not too thick. I mean, that's a little under what's normal. It's a 1-inch diameter cut, and they say you get 3 inches of total cutting surface. So, I mean, you got a lot going on there in the head. This one's the 125 grain head. This is the 100. As you can tell, the head's a little bit beefier in the 125 than the 100. But that's really all you get in the difference. It just spins off, and then you can switch to whatever tip you would like to shoot. And the tip on these is actually made out of A2 tool steel, so that's really awesome. It's a really tough steel. My only concern is how big the tip is in relation to the cutting surface in the broadhead, and how far it actually is from the start of the cut. I think it could lose a lot of energy with that distance. With that said, this is actually really sharp. The tip on it's really sharp. The edges are not. So that's my only concern with it, is how far that distance is. But that's how they look. That's the 100 grain and the 125. And like I said, it's very noticeable, so you can't accidentally switch and not tell. The 125 is not only longer, but it's a lot thicker too, so that's how you get the 25 extra grains. But it's a unique broadhead. So what we'll do is we'll shoot through the chrono. We'll get our speeds. I'll shoot both of these into the target to make sure they're flying true. They should shoot a touch high from what I'm zeroed in at, as this is lighter than what I hunt with. So let's get the chrono out. We'll shoot that, get the speeds, so we know the exact speeds on this day at this time for this broadhead test. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so as the tip allows on this broadhead to swap between 100 and 125, we got 2 different weight arrows because of that. Now both of these arrows are stock, you know, just your stock 4-fletch with a stock nocks. The only difference is the weight of the head. They have 50 grains up front, so the arrow with the 100 grain broadhead weighs in at 513 grains. The one with the 125 weighs in at 541. That's on the scale, so that's the weight. Now we're going to shoot it through the chrono and see the true speeds of today for each of these weights, and that way we know exactly what the bow's shooting for this test today for both broadheads. So let's get right to it. Alright, so I'm self-filming today. The boys are out hunting. So I'm going to shoot, and then I'll zoom in on the speed. This is simulating the arrow with the 100 grain tip, the stock tip of the broadhead. This is 513 grains. As always, Matthews Triax with wake limbs, 83.5 pound draw, 27-inch draw length. So let's see what the speeds are with this head. Heck yeah. So 275. Let me zoom in here to show you. 275 with the 100 grain. Okay, now to simulate the speeds with the 125 grain tip. This is at 541 grains. Now we'll shoot through the chrono and see what the speed difference is. So it's 275 with 100 grain at 513. So it's not going to be too much different. Just hopefully I don't shoot my arrow. Yeah, not much different at all. Okay, so you can see that bow is set up pretty dang good. Jumping from 513 to the 541, going 25 grains. This is what the speed is. It's at 270. So, so the speeds for the test will be 275 with the 100 grain tip installed, and 270 with the 125 grain tip. So that bow is an awesome bow. I mean, the wake limbs change a lot about it. So it allows me to hold speeds a lot heavier in arrows. So that's why there's only a 5 feet per second difference. But I mean, that's zipping. That's exactly what I want to see. So I'm self-filming again today. So we'll do the 100 grain first, which I'll just have to aim a little low. Hopefully it flies just like it did the first shot. Got the camera set up down there, so let's get right to it. 20 yards, 20% ballistic shell. We know the speeds, we know all that. Let's see how this Black Widow Innovations arachnid does. So that shot really good, just as it should, just as it did the first time. This 125 head though is the one that was kind of squirrely, so we'll see. I gotta take a step over to square up to the block. We'll see what it does. Perfect. Tried to put them one above the other. That way we can see and really see them side by side, see what the difference is between the 100 and the 125. So this is how it looks from here. All right guys, so here we go. The bottom is the 125 and the top is the 100. And as you can see here, the 100 grain tip actually got a little bit further than the 125. And I think just in the gel, I mean, that is a huge tip for a very little cut. That was my worries with this regarding penetration. I mean, wound channel looks exceptional on both. You can really see that star pattern it leaves on both. Actually, this one brought some gel in with it. But really good cut on contact. And really good wound channel. I mean, it's not a huge cut, guys, but it is a 6 blade. It got decent penetration in the gel, but you can see, I mean, it really did have a good wound channel. It's nothing spectacular. I think for a lower poundage bow would be a good idea, but the only thing that holds me up is that tip design. I had a lot of worries about that, and I think it really held back the performance of this broadhead. Okay, so there's the wound channels with the broadheads removed. As you can see, not a giant cut. It does have a very cool cut on contact, and I got no doubts that it would make quite the wound channel in a whitetail, but I don't know. I'm not overly impressed with the design or the performance here. All right, guys, so regarding the Black Widow arachnid 6 blade broadhead, the only thing I don't like about it is that giant distance between the tip and the cut-in surface, especially when the cut-in surface is so little. I mean, this broadhead should have penetrated a hell of a lot better than it did in the gel, and I think it's losing a lot of energy hitting with this giant tip and taking, I mean, it's more than, I mean, I think the tip's longer than the broadhead, so I mean, look how much distance on either the 100 or the 125 it's got to travel before it gets to a cutting surface. Especially in gel, that's going to hinder performance penetration-wise greatly. The other thing about it is they're not exactly very sharp broadheads. I think it would be a pain to sharpen these. They are single bevel now that I look at it, but it's just not a very impressive performance. Would it kill a whitetail? Absolutely, but it's just, the good news about that tip is it's A2, so you know it's tough. This is a really sturdy looking broadhead. That's pretty much where I'm thinking they were going with this broadhead, is durability. Make sure it's tough. You have the, you can see you got the blade over the shaft design, kind of like an Exodus full. It's going to fly better. It's going to hit hard. It's going to be able to withstand a lot of impact, which I think they will. We will shoot them through the car hood, as the car hood's going to make a comeback. Y'all have been asking for it, and that's one way we can test broadheads when it gets cold. We can shoot the car hood at all temperatures, so that'll be tested soon. But I mean, I don't know. Not impressive, but not bad either. It's right in the middle of the road. I think there's a lot of better options for a fixed head, but overall it just performed decent in penetration, wound channel, etc. I just think that tip is way too long for this little broadhead. Guys, drop a comment below. Let me know if you shoot these heads, if you shot any of the Black Widow heads, or what you thought of the test at hand. I mean, like I said, they did decent. Nothing over the top, nothing I would throw away, but just decent. But guys, we're pushing for that 10K subscribers. When we get there, we got the ultimate turkey giveaway. We're getting closer. We're getting real close to 9K. I never thought we'd get this far. It's awesome seeing how many people are loving our tests and turn to our tests for information on broadheads, patterns, etc. And how much you guys are actually sharing the videos on Facebook. When you do share to Facebook, make sure you tag either myself, Moose, or Hawk, or the Blue Collar Outdoors USA Facebook page. All those links are down in the description below, so check them out. Go check out our Facebook, our Instagram, all that fun stuff. We don't do Twitter because I don't really understand Twitter, so I mean, I get on every once in a while just to say tweet, but that's really about my extent on that. So check out our social media. Share your pictures of field. We love seeing successful hunts. We love hearing the stories. We love seeing the broadhead that you're using, the setups, all that. We love all that stuff. So hit us up on our social media, not just here. And keep sharing the content. Let's get to 10K. Let's get that giveaway going. With that said, guys, I got one more broadhead test to film. It's actually another Black Widow broadhead. I think it's going to be the better of the two, personally, but we'll see through testing. So as always, smash the thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, turn it on to all. I did see in the analytics a lot more people turn those notifications on. Love seeing it. That way you don't miss out on any content dropping. As it's busy now, so we're going to have waterfowl hunts, deer hunts. We're going to have a lot more hunts hitting the channel as well. It's getting to be that time. So, but guys, as always, this is Jay SLEASMAN, Blue Collar Outdoors. This was the Arachnid 6-blade broadhead in 125, and 100 grain. Pretty cool design, decent performance, not too shabby. We'll catch you on the next one.